Thank you, Mr. Tackett and the Chamber Ensemble from here at North Penn. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 1994 National Honor Society New Member Induction Ceremony. Hello, my name is Mario Valeni.
And I'm Jen Fitter, and we're the chair people that helped put together this evening's ceremony.
But before we get started, we would like to introduce you to Dr. Bond, the principal here at North Penn High School.
Thank you very much, Jen and Mario. It's great to be here. They're going to make a nice team. Now, Mario has been practicing at this podium. Mario was the what did you call yourselves? Co-homecoming announcers. And he's always with a lovely young lady. And it's always a different one. Good for you, Mario. Good luck. Good luck. Jen, thank you. And have a nice evening. Take my hand. See ya. Jen and Mario. And I'd like to take this opportunity also to welcome you to the North Penn High School chapter of the National Honor Society induction ceremony, and particularly thank Mr. Tackett and his string ensemble, who continue to do an exciting and a lovely job for us whenever called upon. And I always notice that it always says the ensemble and Mr. Tackett. Well, I've said that one of these days before I leave here, I'm going to find out if he really can play one of those. So the next time maybe we'll include Mr. Tackett. You know, we had a swimming coach around here for a long time who couldn't swim. Sad but true. I'm delighted to be here. We have a wonderful group of 97 young people, 80 juniors and 17 seniors to be inducted this evening. I congratulate you as their family and friends. And a particular thank you goes out to Mrs. Finnemar, who has been doing this for how long, Mrs. Finnemar? Longer than she can remember, she says. Now we know longer than she wants to admit, maybe. And Mr. King, who is a relative newcomer to this, 2 years. 2 years. Well, congratulations and thank you both for all that you do for these young people. And to Andy Lee, this year's president, I say good luck and congratulations to you. And we look forward to hearing from these young folks as we move through the evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We'd like to also extend our welcome this evening to parents, family, friends, and the new inductees as they join us here this evening for our induction ceremony. There's over 22,000 National Honor Society chapters across the United States, and each one of them have slightly different types of induction ceremonies. Some of the induction ceremonies are part of an all-school assembly. Sometimes they involve the new members not knowing that they're going to be inducted until that day, until somebody comes off the stage and into the audience to get them. Sometimes they're in the evening, like ours, and sometimes they're during an afternoon tea setting. All are different, but all share some very common threads. And some of these include the speaking about the 4 pillars on which the National Honor Society is built. Those 4 pillars are scholarship, leadership, service, and character. Another foundation on which most honor societies build their induction ceremony is the common theme of the torch of knowledge. And you will see that throughout the evening that candles will be used as a symbol of this torch of knowledge. And we share that torch, but we also wish that to remind our inductees that they need to be careful with those candles, and that we've talked about this before, that they need to be aware of the candle light in the auditorium. North Penn prides itself on the fact that student organizations are truly student-run organizations. Honor Society is no exception. This entire evening has been planned and carried out by students who are presently members of the National Honor Society. But something that is also very interesting about the National Honor Society is the strong adult involvement in the selection process. And that's one thing that I'd like to share with you this evening, because both students and family often wonder, why is this particular person being inducted into the National Honor Society? How did they get selected? Because North Penn High School is a very large high school, it's really impossible for the faculty to know all the things about you that would make you good candidates to be in the National Honor Society. And that's why we've asked you to share with us some of the things that you do both in school and out of school. And as members of the Faculty Council, both Chris and I have learned a lot about the various things that our students are involved in. And believe me, it's a myriad of different activities, service activities, as well as things in which they represent the school district. Everyone starts out by finding out that they are academically eligible because they have at least a 4.75 weighted grade point average. And that occurred in September, and the qualified students were then asked to pick up forms from Mr. King or I, and those forms involved having you fill out a resume of the activities you do, both in school and out of school, and included their leadership, the offices they might hold, or areas in which they serve in a leadership position, and the service that they render both to the school and to the community. Finally, we asked the students to ask faculty members, as well as community members, to write recommendations. And some of you here may have written recommendations for some of the people that are being inducted tonight, or have been inducted in other occasions. And those attest to the students' fine character. After all of this material has been gathered in, we see that the Faculty Council gets to read the resumes and the recommendations. And at this time, I'd like to have Mr. King talk a little bit more about the Faculty Council.
We're certainly very grateful to the Faculty Council. They put in a great deal of their own time reading over the resumes of the many students that apply, going over the qualifications, and we meet several days after school and just discuss these and go over them and talk about the qualifications and many of the fine things that the students are doing. Because these people put in so much time on their own, I'd like to recognize them here this evening. The members of the Faculty Council include Mrs. Finnemeyer and myself, and also Dr. Jeffrey Marr, Mrs. Beth McPeak, Mrs. Nancy Abbott, Mrs. Pat Culp, Mr. Tom Lemon, and Mrs. Madeline Turok. Any of those members of the Faculty Council who are here tonight, would you please stand up so we can recognize your help? Thank you. And once again, we are very grateful. One other thing I would like to do is also tell you a little bit about the National Honor Society as your children are being inducted here this evening, and to the new inductees as you're being inducted. We'd like to give you a little bit of a background of some of the things we do in the National Honor Society and some of the things we represent here at the high school. Primarily what we are is a service organization here. Many people talk about the National Honor Society as, oh hey, it's going to look great on my resume, and that's why they join. But there's really a lot more to what we do here, and we'd like to encourage as many people as we can to become involved with these activities. We just completed assisting with a food drive here at the high school for Manna on Main Street. We do a Big Brother, Big Sister with the elementary schools within the school district. We send our students to those schools to work with children there. We work in an adopted grandparent program with senior citizens. Our students go out and spend time with senior citizens. We have many students that volunteer their time as English as a second language tutors for other students in our high school who have English as their second language. We also raise money for student scholarships. Coming up in about 2 months, we're going to start selling Tootsie Pops throughout the high school. And last year, we were able to raise over $3,000 for scholarships for National Honor Society members. Those of you who are looking at impending college tuition, I'm sure can appreciate the value of some of those scholarships that we can raise. We also, every spring here out at the football stadium, run Special Olympics. Last year, we had over 400 athletes compete in Special Olympics, and that is completely organized by and run by the students in the National Honor Society here at the high school. So there's a great many things that we do that are service-oriented for those in the community and those here at our school. So we're very proud of those accomplishments. Unless you think that that's all we do here, we also have some fun. Our next meeting is going to be held in the gym for a couple hours when we're playing volleyball for several hours. So we have a little bit of fun, and we try to do some good things along the way. And we're very proud of the accomplishments of our students here. Thank you. Let me introduce Mario Valenti and Dan McCarter, who will be speaking on the 4 ideals of the National Honor Society. One of the 4 is scholarship, and that's what these gentlemen will be speaking on.
We are at the dawn of a new age of learning, where information transcends national and geographic boundaries at the touch of a button.
Staying afloat in this torrent of ideas requires a sharp mind, ready to attack new information, and an agile memory, ready to ingest the daily influx of new knowledge.
Scholarship is paramount in this new society, where degrees and experience decide who gets ahead and who is left behind. These students have demonstrated the drive and persistence necessary to become true scholars as the new members of the National Honor Society.
But scholarship is not merely a means to attain material wealth. The insight and self-discipline learned from study are infinitely more valuable than any sum of money earned as compensation. What the scholar learns from learning shapes attitude and turns their focus towards self-improvement. The scholar accrues knowledge not for what it gives him or her, but for what it makes him or her.
You are considered for membership into the National Honor Society in part on the basis of scholarship. Your academic performance has been outstanding, but this is by no means the end of your efforts. To a scholar, learning is like breathing. To stop learning is to cease to exist.
Up to now, you have made sacrifices on behalf of your academic growth. Don't stop now. Your academic career as scholars has just begun. Learning continues beyond the confines of the walls of institutions and the bindings of books. Keep yourself open to new experiences, and your scholarship will expand into uncharted regions of your minds.
Learning never stops, and as long as you remain true to your ideals learned through scholarship, neither will your voyage through to success. Speaking next on the topic of leadership are Stephanie Wilkie and Allison Tweedy.
You do it. No, you do it. It's not my responsibility. Well, it's not mine either. As we've just demonstrated, life is much simpler if we let someone else take the responsibility. But not everyone can just sit back and relax. Someone must take charge of the situation so that the task will get done.
For instance, these positions all need a responsible leader to fill them. President of the United States, Superintendent of Schools, Special Olympics Coordinator, and even the chairperson of the lollipop sale.
Each of these positions is as important as the next. They are all necessary, and they need qualified and dedicated individuals to fill them. Some requirements that are needed for these are: you must be able to be determined to succeed. You must take the initiative. You must have the desire to improve, not only yourself, but also others.
All of these traits are vital to becoming an effective leader. The person who takes the initiative makes an opening for him or herself. These kind of people are not only leaders because they have self-determination, but also because they work well with others and they know that in order to succeed, teamwork is essential.
People sitting in this auditorium have amazing potential, and they've shown that they are not afraid to be a leader. Through academics, athletics, and other activities, all of you have shown that potential to become a bellwether, rather than one of the hoi polloi. Always remember that for anything to be accomplished, someone must take charge. With that leadership, the results will be both beneficial and rewarding to everyone involved.
Next, Heather Simpkins and Cheryl Skrzab will speak on the pillar of service.
Service is one of the 4 pillars upon which membership of the National Honor Society is based, because it is important to use your talents to give back to your community. Service encompasses the 3 other pillars. Once you've succeeded in areas of character, leadership, and scholarship, You can then look beyond yourself to your community. Once you've started to give to others, you have reached the culmination of your talents.
Strong character shows that you care about others and you have a willingness to help. You need leadership to have the initiative to undertake a service project. And good scholarship demonstrates that you are dedicated to your studies and can therefore apply that dedication to other endeavors. The pillar of service is unique because it requires you to combine the other three qualities necessary for National Honor Society membership.
Some of you may help in a homeless shelter, volunteer in a hospital, or help out at your church. You may not feel that you are performing a service because it has become a normal part of your life. However, every act that you perform helps your community in some way. Someone appreciates your volunteer work.
For example, at my church, I am a member of the Woodwinds Ensemble, and I have taught Vacation Bible School for the past 2 summers. I have also volunteered as a candy striper and have helped renovate shelters to house homeless people. When I saw the appreciation of the people that I helped, all my work was made worthwhile.
During the past 4 years, I have worked over 200 hours as a candy striper at North Penn Hospital. I have also been involved in my church youth group. Special Olympics has also become one of my major volunteer activities. I have served as a buddy, and this year I am one of the co-chairs of the Special Olympics. Donating my time to volunteer activities seems a negligible drawback when I see the appreciation of the people I help.
As you can see from our examples, service is about helping other people, but it is more than just that. Service also contributes to personal growth by giving you a sense of pride and self-esteem. Your service is not only valuable to the community, but it is also valuable to yourself. Finally, Laura Botanic and Christy Spalding will speak on the pillar of character.
Everyone here tonight has a distinctive character which sets him or her apart from others. Your character is the base which stands behind your scholarship, leadership, and community service. Without a strong character, you would not be able to obtain leadership positions, would not be willing to help others on your own free will, and would not do your best in your studies.
Your character and own personal drive decide how much effort you put into your studies. Without the desire to succeed and do well, your own academic standards would suffer. By having good work habits and respect for your teachers, you will achieve excellence. All this is accomplished with your dedicated character.
Leadership is the one other pillar that is dependent upon each person's character. Those who are eager to lead instead of follow distinguishes the charismatic individuals seated before us tonight. Wanting the responsibility of guiding your peers shows maturity in an individual. This maturity comes forth through the growth of a person's character.
The desire to help others, which today is rarely found in society, let alone in high school students, is the sign that shows morals in one's character. Service brings out one's inner self, allowing others not only to see what's on the surface, but also a person's compassionate nature. It not only gives students a chance to help others, but it also allows for people to grow and improve in their lives.
Your character is distinct as your fingerprint, neither owned nor copied by any other individual.
You can look everywhere and never find another person just like you. Your character is an irreplaceable gift that makes you, you.
Thank you, Christy and Laura. At this time, I'm proud to introduce the next speaker of the evening, the President of the National Honor Society, Andy Lee.
Good evening. I would first like to thank all of the families and friends of the inductees for coming out and showing their support tonight. Next, I would also like to congratulate each of the new inductees personally. Acceptance into the National Honor Society is not an easy task to achieve. To become a member, each of you had to put forth effort and hard work. However, do not let your ambition and insight end with this ceremony.
I will be honest. It is easy to remain a member of the National Honor Society without actively participating. But I encourage each of you to take advantage of every new opportunity available. Sitting where you are today, 1 year ago, I did not realize how much can be gained through participation. By becoming involved with just one of our numerous programs, such as Big Brother Big Sister, Adopt a Grandparent, or Special Olympics, members are provided with experiences that influence them for their entire lives. These activities are the National Honor Society. The goal of the National Honor Society is to help shape character and improve leadership, scholarship, and volunteer skills. We offer activities in the National Honor Society because they are the means of developing members' abilities. I am proud of the fact that our Honor Society offers such a wide variety of activities. I am also proud that many of our members involve themselves in our events. I only hope that each of you will understand the importance of participation and that you will fully mature your skills through the National Honor Society. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. At this time of the ceremony, each of the new members will be presented with the certificates that document their membership into the National Honor Society. I am pleased to introduce you to Anna David, the National Honor Society Secretary, and Archie Nayak, the National Honor Society Activities Coordinator. They will be reading off the names of each of the new members as they receive their certificates.
First to be presented with their certificates will be the new senior members of the National Honor Society. They will be presenting their certificates by Tony Young, the Vice President, and they will be shaking hands with Andy Lee, the President, Ms. Finnemeyer and Mr. King, the advisors, Dr. Bond, the school principal, and Dr. Belanda, the 12th grade assistant principal.
Ronnie Akawi,
Kimberly Olstead,
Karen Bemke,
Allegra Horniman,
Kathleen Brish,
Sandra Bush,
Jeff Gravish,
Jack Graham,
Melissa Howley,
Yang Jin,
Ed Kim,
John Lynn,
David McMahon,
Carrie Mayer,
Sonia Pyatt,
Benjamin Sprose,
Beth Woloski, and they were the new senior members. Next, to be presented with their certificates will be the new junior members of the National Honor Society. They will be presented with their certificates by Tony Young, the Vice President, and they will be shaking hands with Andy Lee, the President, Mrs. Finnemeyer and Mr. King, the advisors, Dr. Bond, the school principal, and Mr. Frederick, the 11th grade assistant principal. Gregory Adams,
Karen Allbacker,
Christopher Ayers,
Jesse Bernstein,
Michael Blake,
Megan Boda,
June Choi,
Nicole Cornelius,
Catherine Cressman,
Andrew Yakovich,
Natalie DeMora,
Jim DeAngelo,
Jennifer Davis,
Molly Decker,
Ashish Desai,
Kate Dickinson,
Jill Doherty.
Purvi Duda.
Genevieve Everett.
Christine Frankenfield.
Catherine Freidinger.
Michelle Gallagher.
Allison Gazen.
Christy Jan Francesco.
Shelley Goldstein.
Mara Godfrey.
Catherine Greenwood.
Jeffrey Haig.
Elizabeth Hahn.
Carrie Holloway.
David Housel.
Ellen Ingram.
Mandy Jo Jastrzemski.
Amanda Jones.
Yael Kaufman.
Rachel Cobb.
Jody Crum.
Marcus Leary.
Sang Lee.
Robert Lesnevsky.
Debbie Lynn.
Valerie Leffler.
Whitney Loke.
Brian MacDonald.
Aaron Malik.
Kathleen Mallon.
Michael McCrae.
Matthew McMillan.
Amy Moulton.
Laura Nazimick.
Derek Neidhart.
Justin O.
Avni Patel.
Darshika Patel.
Rachna Patel.
David Pittman.
David Pop.
Brian Questad.
Stephanie Reiner.
Jennifer Rittenhouse.
Jonathan Roth.
Jennifer Sarnasinski.
Kara Schoenfeld.
Tricia Shorley.
Susan Shriver.
Jenna Schultz.
Joel Snyderman.
Beth Staples.
Valerie Sutton.
David Sweeney.
Scott Tantino.
Lauren Tricoletti.
Michelle Tucker. Philip Valenti.
Lynn Wang.
Peter Wise.
Lynn Yacobinis.
Carolyn Yen.
Dina Yin.
Jen and Mario's permission, Mrs. Fennemeyer and Mr. King insisted that I come to the microphone and just speak very briefly on the National Honor Society fundraiser, my favorite activity of the year. You may have heard Mrs. Fennemeyer say that they raised $3,000 selling Tootsie Roll Pops. You need to know they sell them for 25 cents a piece. Now, I'm not as scholarly as these young people are, but I've done some figuring on this. We have 2,400 students here at North Bend High School, and they make $3,000 on Tootsie Roll Pops. And they do this in 2 weeks. Do you know what that looks like? No matter where you go in this building for 2 weeks, you see this little white thing sticking out everyone's mouth, including the faculty. And somehow they always manage to drop one or two at the exit of my door of those little white things that the Tootsie Roll Pops come on. So I walk out the door. I think it's just a little ploy, and bright people can do this to me. And they stick on my shoe. And there's someone around the corner who sort of looks and chuckles and waits for me to do one of these. I don't know if you've ever taken a Tootsie Roll Pop off of your shoe, but it's sticky. And we sell $3,000 worth of these at 25 cents a piece. Now, several years ago, I said that we weren't going to allow the National Honor Society to sell Tootsie Roll Pops because we don't eat in school and it was messy and so on and so forth. I had no idea that you could make $3,000 in 2 weeks. We will sell Tootsie Roll Pops as long as I'm here. Think about that. I mean, I don't know if that really is hit. $3,000 in 2 weeks selling Tootsie Roll Pops. Congratulations, Mrs. Fennemeyer. Mrs. Fennemeyer, how many weeks this year? How many days will we sell them this year? 2 weeks. And you know, one year we were selling Tootsie Roll Pops and it snowed, so we had to extend it. I love cherry Tootsie Roll Pops though. Mario and Jen, what's the most Tootsie Roll Pops anyone ever sold? How many? 12 boxes. How many are in a box? 100. Someone sold. There's 100 in a box and someone sold 12 boxes of Tootsie Roll Pops. Isn't that 1,200, Jen? You gonna be my straight person here or what? That's okay. That's 1,200 Tootsie Roll Pops at 25 cents a piece. So how much money is that, Jen? Mario, help her out. No idea. You have no idea. Listen, it's congratulations and thanks for coming out. 300? I knew that.
Might ask her, not me.
Each of the new members has received a candle, and in case you missed it, our president of the National Honor Society, Andy Lee, has lit the candle of each end person, and they pass the flame along each other. The candles are a symbol of the National Honor Society's flaming torch, which represents the freedom and knowledge, reminds us to bear forward in the searching of the light of truth, and to lead others to follow the light.
The new members will also be reading the National Honor Society Pledge. The National Honor Society Vice President, Tony Young, will be leading the new members in the reading of the pledge as they stand. Please stand, new please. Repeat after me. I pledge to always seek the light of truth, to hold scholarly habits, to engage in worthy service, to maintain an untarnished character, and to lead in all things that advance the welfare of the school. In this way, I will prove myself worthy of a place in the National Honor Society. Congratulations, new members. New members, would you please follow the President, Andy Lee, and exit the auditorium?
Once all the new members have exited the auditorium, everyone is invited in the lobby to enjoy some refreshments provided by the American Association of University Women.
Again, congratulations to each of the new members of the National Honor Society. Thank you for everybody that has come through this evening, and we hope you have a great evening.